Okay, class, welcome to part 2 of Lab 7, Georeferencing. So, just like a little recap of what we've done here, we got these 4 points. We have very low residuals when using the degrees, minutes, and seconds. Now, the only problem is we don't really have any more of those available, right? So what we're going to try and do and see how this works is we're going to use these UTM lines right here that are in meters. Okay, so this is all part of the universal transverse grid. I'll just show you that right here, right? Okay, so this is the grid here. These lines indicate meters right here. So what we're going to do, let's go back to this zoom to layer, and we're going to add 2 points but using a different method than we used before, right? So we got this 0 and 80 right here. Okay, so the 80 is the x, and then the 0 is the y. Okay, so let's go right here. Add this guy, try and add it right in the middle. Right click, input xy. Okay, so the x is going to be 80. And then let's take away this 70 and do 0. Okay, so a little bit of an error right there. You can tell right away. Went up a little bit, but it's a still a rather low RMS error. So let's go back up to zoom to layer. We're doing that a lot in this lab. And let's go back up right here. Okay, now let's use this other one here at 0 and 90. Okay, you can obviously try some other ones here. If there were other points in this map that you knew the point of, you could use those, but we're using these right here for lab today, but you guys can mess with it more because yours should be a little bit more accurate. So try and get it right there in the middle, right click. This one up here is going to be 90, right? So you got the 90, and then this guy right here. Let's put this guy here. 0, 0. How long is that one? Yeah, it's a little bit longer. Let's see what it looks like. It's probably not good. It's probably gonna, yeah, it messes up a little bit, but you know what? That's still a pretty low RMS. I like that. Okay. Now let's go back to this layer right here. Zoom to layer. Okay, so we got this right here. Fits pretty well. It isn't as close as I'd like for it to be. It's a little bit warped because it's been stretching a little bit, and it's not perfect all on there, but for what I'm doing in this part right here, it's okay. I'm going to look a little bit more closely at y'all's labs to make sure those are all right. But I'm going to save this again right here, right? And then what I want to do right here is I want to update the georeferencing. Okay, so when you're happy with it, this kind of makes it permanent. We're going to update this georeferencing. Okay, so go to right here, update georeferencing, and that's going to kind of lock it into place, right? Okay, now let's go back here to zoom to layer. Next thing I want to do is add data. We're going to add this community map here. Okay, and that stays there. Let's zoom to layer. Okay, here is the community map. Oops. Okay, now as you can tell, there are no projections here, right? This is done in what looks like to be colored pencil. Looks like crayon, but it's colored pencil and a pen. There's some spelling differences in this map and the other one, but we're going to try and find similarities in places between that map and this one here. Okay? So the first thing we're going to do is let's go to this guy here and let's try and get the community map, and let's get that to fit to display. You know, let's go back here a little bit. Sorry. Zoom to layer. Yeah, now let's get this map right here. So we're on this map. Let's get fit to display, and boom. Okay. So now we have the shapefile right here. We have this topo map that fits pretty well. It isn't perfect, but it fits pretty well. And then we're going to add this other map on top of here, which is a map done by participatory methods, meaning people in the area help make this map. Okay. So let's take a look at this map for just a second. Let's look at some things. What are some of these things in here we can maybe use? Zoom out just a tad in our own map, right? Okay, so we got this right here, this one right here, and then if we take this one off, we look at here, there's one thing that I think is the easiest to compare, right? And that is going to be this part right here. And as you can tell, there's different spelling, but there's one right there. There's a big road right here. See the road right here? There's this road going into this town, and I want to mark it as right there. Okay, so we mark it right there, and then to right there. So let's bring this guy up a little bit. What we're going to do now is we don't have XY coordinates. We're going to take this here. Let's go to this guy here. This is the community map, and I want to mark this right here at this nice bend in the road. So mark this right here. Now then I want to turn this off, and I want to mark it this bend right here. Okay? Now let's turn this back on, and this is kind of the cool thing here is you can go off and on. That looks like it covers it pretty well, right? So what I want to do now is I want to take some more points, right? Okay. Now on this right here, I want you guys to use at least 3 points, if not 4. Okay, so we got one right here. This one looked pretty good. Now let's move over a little bit, and let's try and find one. Let's go to this other map. This Laguna one. Now there's a bunch of ones to use, right? I would like for you guys to have at least 4. Now there's one right here that I like. This one looks pretty good. It's kind of hard to find places because roads may have moved, rivers may have changed, but let's try and do this one right here between the Blue Creek and the Moho River. So if we click right here, and then we go unclick this here, and we try and find it. I think it looks like it's about right there, right? Oops. Let's cancel that. I messed that up. But that looks pretty good right there. Let's check a little bit more and look. That kind of looks like a creek meeting this larger river. So let's go back and do that again. This is kind of the hard part, is how you drag it over. Okay? So let's unclick this here, and then we're going to click right here. And boom. Okay? Now let's click this back on. That looks pretty good, right? Maybe let's go to zoom to layer here. Now this looks like, you know, I mean, even if you just look at it right here, that looks like the road coming in. That looks like the road right there. You know, you can just go on and off, and you can kind of see it's starting to match up, right? Now let's find at least one more point right here. Part of this lab for y'all is going to be working on this more and more, right? You know, and kind of fine tuning. All I'm doing right here is just kind of showing you guys the skills. So here's the San Jacinto River, or the Jacinto River. And this looks like a little creek right here. Now let's take this off and see what else we got right here. Now it looks like that's right there, right? Because the road seems to be more over here. Let's try and go up a little bit, go back. Maybe that's the road right there. Let's take a look. San Jacinto Creek. Yeah, that looks about right. Try and back this up a little bit just to make sure here, right? San Jacinto Creek, yeah. I think it's about right there. We'll see. Okay, so let's get our points right here, our X points right here. Turn this guy off, and I think it's right here. Let's see how that works. Okay, turn this back on, and let's go to zoom to layer here. Okay, so it kind of moves a little bit, but I think that's right. You can kind of see this fitting a little bit better now. Okay, so for y'all, what I'd like you to do is maybe find one more point, find at least 4 points right here. And if you turn this on and off, you can kind of get an idea that this matches up pretty well. You know, it's not perfect, right? You can always add some more to it, but it's better. Okay. Now the next thing I want you guys to do here is to go to let's go to Customize, Toolbars, and go to Effects. Now this is kind of cool. This is going to be, we're going to select the map right here, which is the community map, and this is a good way to show this, right? If you go to about, okay, so that's probably too much, right? That transparency is too much. But if you're having issues with this and you want to be like, hey, how does this really fit? you can zoom it in here, and you can kind of get a better picture of it, right? So if you kind of, maybe let's go a little more, you know, you can kind of see here what's matching up pretty well. That's kind of a good way, right? It looks pretty good. Things may be a tad bit off. It's hard to tell what the problem is. That could be the map drawn here, but things look pretty accurate, right? Yeah. You know, it looks pretty accurate. River here, road right here. Okay. So that is most of the lab that I want you guys to do. So you have it all lined up, all these things lined up and geo-referenced, right? So that's all good there. Now, the last thing I want you to do is I want you to turn this into a map. You can turn it, okay? And I want it to have all of the necessary map elements. I'd probably back up on this a little bit, you know, so if you get a good picture of just, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect, but I'd like to be able to see everything. Well, also, I'm going to update georeferencing. That way, it just kind of locks everything in. That'll be good too. So you can move this up here, right? You know, maybe something that just kind of shows you all this right here. So obviously, going to be a little bit different map because it doesn't look that pretty and finished. But I just want to make sure that you guys did all this. So put this on here. You don't need much else to see if a scale will even work. A scale bar, okay. Yeah, okay. Oops. Okay, so I want you guys to do all the regular map elements. You don't need a legend on this, obviously, but do a title, do a little text box explaining what we did, and you should be good to go. But this should be helpful stuff for anyone that is working in the field with maps and has a combination of different map sources and how you can combine all of them using ArcGIS. Once again, thanks for watching the Geographer's Craft. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.